Hello and good luck to Fulcrum in round one. Lost the die roll here, which is a bummer because this warrior deck would love to be on the play. But whatever, such is the world. So yeah, I'm gonna end up. You've probably already watched the first warrior draft if you're watching this one, because I'm gonna post both these warrior decks together at the same time. Kind of a fun little thing. Just having gun two back-to-back warriors is pretty cool. Here we've got a pretty weak start with number one or two draws. We've got tons of draws into them. And I have two lands plus spells. And you will notice this is the exact example that we need to get to four drops, but I'm going to keep it. If I knew for a fact that I was playing like the Mardu player who I passed the the Crackling Doom to, maybe I wouldn't keep this, but I think we have tons of draws that are going to be great. We have 7 creatures that we can draw in order to get a 1 or 2 drop online. We also have, of course, all the lands that are going to be good draws. Here's one of our creatures. We'd love to pick another creature soon so I can get a turn 2 something attack and then get the Skull Hunter down, but if not, I'll still run it out on its own. Hey, that's pretty fantastic. Easily attacking here. And then next turn, even if we don't draw a land, we get a Skull Hunter, and my opponent will lose something. Ooh, Flying Master? Alright, we are playing against another aggressive deck. I wonder if this is a Jeskai base or the Mardu base. That'll be interesting to find out. Well, for now, I just want to trigger Raid, even though I'm losing the race and would love to start keeping this guy back for blocks, but I'd much rather get my Skull Hunter out, have my opponent discard, will debilitate an injury, something scary, and keep the Swiftwing on blocks. The spoils in Rush of Battle will end up being quite nice. And not only do I have 7 creatures and a bunch of lands to have drawn, I also forgot I have tons of 2-drop spells with the injuries and the feeder resistance and whatnot. So that was pretty okay. Opponent discards a Defiant Strike, so maybe this is a prowessy type Jeskai deck. Which does mean this Swiftwing might be very good, since these guys don't have prowess. There's a Morph. So I think I'm just going to debilitate and injury the Morph, attack with the Mardu Skull Hunter, and keep the Swiftwing for blocks. I don't have a 3-drop, so that's fine. And that was a Canyon Lurker, so it would have been a lot of damage. My opponent could certainly have things that kill the Swiftwing, but if my opponent wants to waste a card to get rid of my dorky Swiftwing, that's actually okay. Alright, so there's definitely something, but I'm going to make my opponent use it, whatever that may be. That was the whole point of blocking. Or not. Maybe my opponent forgot about First Strike? Swiftwing isn't overly played. Oh, I see. Timely Hordemate gets it back anyway. So, okay. Still, we got to prevent some damage. That's nice and kind of where we want to be. Here's 4, which will be fantastic. Do I just rock out the Raider Spoils now? It kind of makes the Mardu Skull Hunter a must block. I think it's just better to bring the Unyielding Krumar down. I'm still attacking with the Skull Hunter, don't get me wrong. But I'm going to bring the Unyielding Krumar out, because it stabilizes pretty well. Could just be a Leaping Master block here. No block. Alright, cool. I will make a trade with the Timely Hordemate here. My opponent's the aggressor, and we have such great gas in hand. Maybe I should have played the War Behemoth then. That might have been better. The thing is, if my opponent doesn't want to make those trades, I can just attack back with Rush of Battle next turn. If my opponent's doing something before attacks, maybe making Leaping Masters fly? I don't know. I do have to make a block here. Oh, interesting. If that's the case, I assume my opponent was attacking with everything. I was going to say I have to block with everything because my opponent could play a land and then do an Arrow Storm and kill me if I don't block. Here, though, I'm down to take 3, keep my Yielding Krumar alive, and I'll just play Rush of Battle next turn, gain a whole bunch of life. That's fine with me. and really move the tables into our favor. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I don't get to kill my opponent. How much life am I going to gain, though? If I do Rush of Battle, attack with these guys, gain a bunch of life, my opponent has to do some trades. I can attack with the Swift Wing as well, but is the extra 3 points in life gain worth it? Because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. This guy could be a War Behemoth. And I'm only going to gain 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to attack with the Unyielding Krumar and the Mardu Skull Hunter. If my opponent had so much pressure out on me, I would be able to have like kind of developed the spoils and the Behemoth and Bitter Revelation a little bit nicer. My opponent doesn't have to block here, but then my opponent doesn't really have great attacks either, because my opponent tries to attack in with everything. I have lethal on the crackback. If my opponent doesn't block. If my opponent does block, then we're trading cards, getting more life, and I feel like I have a better late game setup. But there could just be a block one. My opponent have to double block the Krumar, which would be advantage. And no matter what, that's a 10-point life swing in my favor. What are these cards again? Defiant Strike, can't. Yes. So a Boros player for sure, possibly a Mardu player. What are the blocks? Just trading off there. Cool. Puts us in a really nice spot. Swiftwing blocks the Leaping Master still. These guys can turn into something bigger, but... Okay, so it is a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I do go down to 11 here, but we're cracking back pretty well. Ooh, is that death? No. Didn't think of that as these two cards together. So if I do another Rush of Battle, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm one away. And I can't play the Raider Spoil and the Rush of Battle. I die to Aerostorm, though, if I don't do the Rush. So maybe what I do is a Rush of Battle, attack for 5, put my opponent down to 4. I go back up to 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This guy just hangs out as a chumper. I don't love that, but I think it's my best bet to play around that. The thing is, if I just play my Morph down and keep up my... It's just Aerostorm gets me, and this is definitely the kind of deck that runs an Aerostorm, so I really want to gain that life. But I was considering playing the Behemoth down, keep my Unyielding Krumar up for first strike. But maybe that's my next plan. So if I do a Rush of Battle, my opponent goes down to 4, I go back up to 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I block. But then Aerostorm still gets me because I'd have to chump, though, if my opponent attacks with everything. Although, if my opponent attacks with everything, it's a pretty clear sign that there's an Aerostorm. So I take 4, take 5, go down to 1. Krumar's gone. Sorry, Swiftwing's gone. Unyielding Krumar's the only thing left around at that point. My opponent will be at 4. I could play the Raider Spoil and then win the game. So I think that's the best way to rock and roll. 5, 6, 7... Is it worth... Man, if I could only have had that Raider Spoil down, if I'd had time for that, it would have been great, but alas. I definitely need this guy to chump. My opponent's only attacking with everything if there's a Raider Spoil in hand. There could be a Bounce or Crippling Chill or something, but I'm not quite dead to that yet. Alright. Still have to do a chump because of Aerostorm. And if that's the case, how do I feel about that? Do I just lose if my opponent... Because then I can't attack in. I think I just lose to Aerostorm here, because I think the only way I win is if I get this like Raider Spoils out and have the Swiftwing be able to do some better blocks. The whole point, though, of keeping the swimming back was because I wanted to block. We'll just keep the Leaping Master around. I don't think my opponent has Aerostorm because my opponent would just attack with everything if Aerostorm existed. So I'll just take 5 here. Yep. Because my opponent's just got nothing. It pretty much F6'd. And it's just... Oh, what do you have? Maybe this is a Crippling Chill? Ooh, a Winter Flame. That's really good against me. Let's see if I can survive. Well, I can play 2 cards, the Jeskai Student and the War Behemoth face down, and it has a bunch of block potential, so that's what has to happen. My opponent could certainly have a bunch of cards to get me here, but also I might only go down to 3. What are you drawing? Leaping Master goes in the air. We do a block and a trade. I'm at 3, but then my opponent's down on the crackback. Could just go ahead and just attack with the flyer and that's it. And I'm dead in 3 turns, but I'll have a lot of pressure against my opponent. If I draw a land, that's kind of nice. Ooh, that's not good. Can I get there? Land is nice, because I get Raider Spoil plus a first strike up, which means I attack and my opponent has to block. But the question is, let's say that happens and I tap out or there's a chump. That's not great for me. Do I attack with the Jeskai Student as well? Because then it's also lethal, right? 1. No, it's only 3. It'll only be 3 at that point. I'm definitely attacking with Unyielding Krumar because this will make it lethal and I'll be able to first strike. So my opponent would have to... well, my opponent couldn't kill it, so there has to be a chump. So yeah. Definitely the way to go here. Close game. And that means I have 2 blockers, so if my opponent can't get through my guys, then we're in good shape. That's the only way I can kind of get there. Opponent has no cards in hand, so is top decking that win. But that doesn't mean I get a win next turn. So if my opponent can keep me back long enough with blocks, then this Leaping Master could just get there. So I have to have my opponent whiff. One of these guys goes down. And I don't have lethal after that. Well, I guess I do, but there have to be no creatures there, but I'm pretty sure my opponent has creatures. Close game. There's tons of things I could lose to, so normally right now I'd be thinking about, well, what could I lose to? I mean, my opponent's top decking, so I just don't think there's a lot of value in doing that at the moment. I think it's more about paying attention to how on this board can I be winning with cards in hand, which is basically a non-issue. The Bitter Revelation can't do anything. And then if my opponent draws any kind of gas, I'm pretty sure... I mean, I think it just comes down to our top decks. Whoever draws a relevant... or pretty much any spell, which I assume is going to be relevant, pretty much should be able to take this game, right? Krumar, again, as a lethal card, gets to take a blocker out, which is fine all on its own. If just a random dork comes down and blocks, remember I have to be blocking these 2. Yeah, because not all my guys are lethal. So if my opponent can just draw a creature next turn, play it, can hold off long enough to stay alive. So I need to draw something that deals with a Leaping Master. My debilitating injury is gone. I have my Murderous Cut. I have... oh, I guess a Feat of Resistance might get there if my opponent... Fulcrum has disconnected, so what I was going to say is feeder resistance could get me there if I can maybe get the Unyielding Krumar and my opponent, like, you know, blocks with a Timely Hordemate for some odd reason. I don't know why, but that's the case. And I can choose red to, like, bash in the last 4 damage. I don't know. So there's little bits of hope. Fulcrum came right back. There's a quick disconnect and back in. If I can draw one of my other 2 flyers, then I have defense against the Leaping Master, both of which can eat the Leaping Master. So there are a number of draws to help me out if my opponent isn't able to do anything fantastic here. And there is just that. I even don't have to tap my 2 mana. Great. Oh no, a Monetary Swift Spear. Well, that was definitely a draw my opponent could have had. Alright, so that's it. Right? Just checking. And yeah, that's it. Close game. Okay. Opponent is playing Jeskai, though we didn't really see any great blue spells besides the Winter Flames. So it looks like it's just Boros, and a little bit of blue splash. Where are the rest of my cards? Rest of my sideboard? Do they exist? That's odd. I don't really want to play them, but I'd like to see them. Where's my sideboard? I'm going to restart. There's my sideboard. Fantastic. I feel like on this race, the Trumpet Blast, which I saw from my opponent, and the Active Treason could be good. What's bad, though? I mean, I have a really nice aggressive deck, and I'm going to be on the play this turn. Rush of Battles are going to be grand. Raider Spoils. Maybe the Bitter Revelation I don't really want anymore. Because we're just racing. I don't really have time, and I just want to be the more aggressor. I don't really want the Shanley Tents or the Elk Blade, even though, I mean, this is just another good set of cards on the ground. I think maybe I do splash in the Trumpet Blast or the Active Treason now. I do have the Caves. What's better? There could be some aggressive trading off, and this is just kind of like who's going to finish who off first. I'm going to put one of these in, I think. I don't know how much of time I have left, so maybe I should do this quickly, huh? I'm going to do Trumpet Blast. No, I'm going to do Active Treason. No Trumpet Blast. Bloodfell Caves, I want to cut a Plains. Add another mountain. And then cut a swamp. And I think we're good. Let's give that a try. I definitely want to play it first. Oh, we got kind of a keep. I mean, it's weird we have a 1-drop into other stuff, but I'm not going to mulligan this. We have plays. Snakeskin on Disown Answer is actually pretty good because there's not a lot of things that like just kill it flat out early, thanks to its toughness. And then Feeder Resistance will keep it alive. This is if that's all I have to do. Then eventually we'll finish things off with Rush of Battle and Sultai Scavenger. Not too sure if my opponent's mulliganing or not. We'll see. Alright, opponent kept 7 as well, so let's get the race on. Monastery Swift Spear. What do I draw? 2-drop? No. I think I'm just going to multi in Snakeskin here. Again, there's not a lot that my opponent could have that takes care of the Snakeskin quickly. There is the Bounce, which puts me a little far back, but I'd rather just start the pressure. I mean, attacking for 2 on turn 2 is pretty handy in this race game. Opponent currently doesn't have anything. I could keep the Feeder Resistance up. Now that I do the Swift Wing, that's kind of awkward. Force Away I don't even care that much about, which is all my opponent could have. At the moment. We obviously get to win most of this race. Not too sure what I want to do here. I think I'll just keep Peter's resistance and regeneration up. My opponent gets to start getting the race back into his or her favor soon, especially if this is like a Canyon Lurkers or something. Which can do a lot of damage. But it's not, so that's good. There's another morph. Alright, Ghost Fire Blade's good, but not insane. I like playing it and getting it out so we can start beefing up stuff. I think we just keep the Disowned Ancestor back, though, to start doing some good blocks. Problem is, it is only a 2-4. The 5-2 kills it. 4-3 kills it. Yeah, I don't think I'm the aggressor here since I'm missing my land drops, so we'll go like this. I'll attack for 1, and I'll take a bunch of damage. But 1, 2... If I take 10, 11, 12... I could go down to 1 here with a Trumpet Blast, though, because that's 3, 6... Sorry, 8, 9, 10, 11... No, it's not down to 1, but I could take a lot of damage. I probably should have just kept the Disowned Ancestor back. I'm just going to pass the turn like this. Keep a Feeder Resistance up. Because what I do want to do, actually, is maybe put a Feeder Resistance on the Gurmag Swiftwing after some blocks. Just to get a nice guy on this. But I might just put on the Disowned Ancestor. I'm probably just going to block the Morph. My opponent has something to make the Morphs try to pound through the Ancestor, then I'll just save the feat. Yeah, that's the current game plan. The Swiftwing's a backup against a Trumpet Blast, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue or red. So really only Canyon Lurkers get us here? I believe... Oh, no, there's the... whatchamacallit? Glacial Stalker, which is a 4-5. If that's the case... I don't get to kill the Glacial Stalker, but I save a bunch of damage. And the Feeder Resistance still makes one of my guys big. And if it's a Canyon Lurkers, which we did see last turn, then the Feeder Resistance will save and kill a dude. Thing is... Swiftwing, yeah, I have to go like this. I can't use a Swiftwing to block right now. And it is as predicted. Protection from red. We get to eat a thing and kind of try to get some of the tempo back on our side. Do I Ghost Fire Blade up and just go on D? That feels right to me. And having a 3-5 and a big old dude first strike makes it really hard for my opponent to bash through. Whirling Outburst, ooh, scary against Trumpet Blast. But I'm 100% not the aggressor now. Drawing lands is nice. Swiftwing is good against the Goblin and these dudes. I could maybe just play the War Behemoth face down and move the Ghost Fireblade over to have a 5-5 on the ground. Kind of like that idea. Yeah, let's do that. Worried about Barrage of Boulders. Here's a Bringlow. Who are you killing? My Disowned Ancestor. Yep. 2 for 1 there. But we still have good blocks. Can start getting my Sultai Scavenger out. If I do a Bitter Revelation now, I can also play the Sultai Scavenger, and I think that's going to be worth it. Hello, great cards. What do I want? I'm not the aggressor, so I don't think I really want the Raider spoils, but it does make the Swiftwing fantastic. I do just want dudes. What do I want? Just more guys on the ground? What are my next couple of turns? I have this guy, another air dude. I feel like one rush of battle would be good, but maybe a second. This is tough. I think I'm gonna take one guy and then one pumper, as it were. And I think Raider Spoils is gonna be the pick. If I draw a land next turn, I can play that and one of my 2-drops, which is really fantastic. Yeah, I just want the guys. I just want to stay alive. That was a difficult decision, though. But yeah, I mean, against my opponent right now, I'm just on the back foot, and a Trumpet Blast is scary, so having both of these down is going to be fantastic. And the Chief is kind of like the Raider spoil at this point, so I don't want to be spending a lot of life. Being able to pump a lot of my warriors, although I only have one bird warrior at the moment to be pumping. If the morph comes in, who do I block with? Well, luckily, there's no white mana, so I don't have to worry about the Jeskai Wind Scout or anything. Still, as my opponent like bills out the board. Ooh, that's nice. What do I want to do? Do I have any attacks? I still think I'm on the defense plan. Pretty sure next turn I just hang out with my morph and my feeder resistance up while my opponent is kind of stuck on white mana. It's great to be able to do both. Too bad nothing has vigilance, but do I want to attack with my 3/4 in the air? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So conceivably 3 creatures could get through that could kind of kill me if I attack with the Sultai Scavenger. I'm thinking if like another Monastery Swift Spear and a Trumpet Blast attacks in, that's 3, 6, 9. That's exactly 10 damage. So I don't think I can afford to Sultai Scavenge yet. But I need to start doing something. What warriors? I only have these 2 warriors. I was going to say I can attack him with both with my Russia Battle, gain a bunch of life, and start trying to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because that would be 9 points of damage. Yeah, I'm going to Russia Battle the Sultai Scavenger and Chief of the Scale. My opponent can just chump a few cards away, but I still get 2 cards gone and gain a bunch of life and put me in a much better position. And having feeder resistance means I can still protect myself. Question is, do I attack with more than just my warriors? What is my opponent trying to do here? Ah, I see. So, Fulcrum puts trigger ability from the... Who's this targeting? I assume... So this guy's getting tapped, and the Swiftwing's getting 2 damage. So what do I want to do? Make this guy a 2/3 first strike, so he stays alive. My Sultai Scavenger gets tapped. I only have the Chief of the Scale to attack in. That's definitely a bummer. I could just let the Swiftwing die, and then protect my Scavenger, which would allow for a really strong attack. I'm going to put on the Swiftwing. We now have just tons of damage coming through, so my opponent has to basically like clear the board. We'll do protection from red. So my guy is tapped. Now, do I attack? I have lethal. My opponent can take 2 hits, only block these 2, and then I'd be dead on the crackback, right? So that's not particularly fantastic. I think I just attack him with my lifelinker and gain some life, which is a bummer, because it really does kind of waste that hit. I could... No, but then these guys have to be blocked. So I would lose, like, 2 guys would go down. This is pretty sketch. Because my opponent can just chump these 2 morphs with the 2 goblins. And then there's lethal on the crackback, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Any Trumpet Blast or anything kind of gets there. I'm just doing some calculations. Attack with these 2. Since I might have to put a lot of stuff in front, and this probably just kills a goblin, which, in a sense, I mean, I guess my opponent could just not block. I think I'm losing a Trumpet Blast, though, next turn. My opponent's been holding on to some cards. I don't know if getting to 14 life is really going to make it enough to with just these 2 to block. Yeah, I lose a Trumpet Blast, but I think I was losing a Trumpet Blast anyway. Now that I didn't gain this life, so... Might have been what I wanted to have thought about. Alright, probably not Trumpet Blast then. Since my opponent's putting the Bloodfire Expert in front. I assume the Goblin would have put it there, but it could still be a Trumpet Blast thing. Currently not, unless my opponent's just getting a little overzealous. Because Trumpet Blast is attacking creatures. Oh no, 5 mana. Arrow Storm. Alright, there goes my morph. Cool, I get to eat something. What do I want to eat? I think just the morph, because that could be the most dangerous. Alright, getting some outs here. Getting some outs. That's nice. Free Weapon Master? Heck yeah. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can't do it. All I have, though... I mean, this is going to be good. We'll put on a Jeskai student so it eats the most stuff. I just got to pass the turn. I know I'm low on time, but hopefully I do win this game. And if I do, I don't think I'm going to be in a position where like I'm going to necessarily have to go super quick in our last game. Ooh. This is definitely a bummer. Still not dead to the Trumpet Blast now, which my opponent might have drawn, but probably just do the Leaping Master. So we're just trying to... My opponent's still stuck without white. Looks like something amazing just happened, so... Trumpet Blast? Maybe not. That seemed like a Trumpet Blast possible attack. Ooh, well, we're just drawing a bunch of lands now, aren't we? Well, I still just gotta hang out, because I don't have lethal. Monastery Swift Spirit? No, do I die to Trumpet Blast? I think I do now. But maybe not. What? Alright, well, looks like getting a little too flooded at the moment. Can't complain, my opponent hasn't had white for forever, just now drew it, so... And I certainly don't think I was making optimum decisions about how to make this race go down. Ooh, hello, that's a great card. Probably can't beat it either. Might have to... Ooh, that's good, but doesn't actually beat anything. I think the Ghostfire Blade now has to go onto the Gurmag Swiftwing. This guy's going to start getting huge late game stats. But pretty sure that's just what has to happen. And I care more about the flyers at this point than the Monastery Swift Spears, I think, since we're in the late game moments. We're going to just start pumping up this guy huge. Wow, another Leaping Master. So I see what my opponent was doing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I was probably just considering what I might have, but I don't think I have enough to do anything. Pretty sure that's it, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I assume there's a... Oh, wait, there's no Trumpet Blast here. I'm just almost dead is all. But at least a lot of things die. Down to 1. My opponent knows I'm trying the Swift Wing. Really pointless, but I'm still going to try my best here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still can't win. See if my opponent makes another mistake. I could possibly have misplayed earlier, and now my opponent has to play around something. Though, I mean, you just go for the win here. I can't imagine not. Yep, that's it. That is the Endos. Well, bummer. I thought that deck was really fun. I was hoping to play more with it. But I don't think I really earned that win, gotta be honest. Can't imagine. Didn't feel like my play was particularly exceptional. In any case, though, once again, thanks for watching. For the double warrior-headed draft of the week, 2 warrior decks, different drafts, yum, super fun. I'm Ryan from manabluff.com. Find me on YouTube. Comment, subscribe, and like. Find me at Twitter, __, and comment on manabluff.com, and I promise to respond. Once again, thank you for watching. Peace.